Welcome to the Gate 7 International Podcast. I'm your host, Adi Bulubasi, joined here by Lambro and Konstantin Levoyanis. Missing Peter today. He's doing a studious PhD thing, so we don't begrudge him that. He'll be back on the next episode. Got a lot of stuff today, couple of games, some post-match to get through. A hilarious post-match for this Goalkeeper game. We'll get into that a little bit later. First things first, some housekeeping. We've got a jam-packed week and a half for you guys in store. Coming up this Monday, we have Chris Wheatley joining us. He's the chief Arsenal reporter at Football London. Some of you may have noticed he was scouting the competition during the Kipelo match today. He was posting about Bukhalakis' gorgeous steal, watching the king of thieves himself. But he'll be joining us Monday. And then on Tuesday, we have a bit of a surprise pre-match for you guys. The Arsenal Fan TV founder, Robbie Lyle, is going to join us for an impromptu pre-match chat ahead of what is basically becoming a grudge match these days. Please hop on check out the Arsenal Fan TV YouTube channel. They're hilarious. And we're going to be on there. He's going to be joining us as well for one of our episodes. So it's going to be a fun series. This Friday, or next Friday, I should say, we have Michael Keshany, the writer for Arsblog. It's Arsenal blog, but cut short. And he writes for About and Football London as well. He is going to be joining us for a post-game chat after the first leg next week. We're really excited to talk to him, getting a ton of content, a ton of insight into this Arsenal team coming up to the next week. There is still more stuff coming. We promised you guys at the start of the new year. The ovens are cooking at Gate 7 International. We've got a lot of content, a lot of stuff in store for you. We're going to leave you with this for now. And as always, we'd like to thank our sponsor, Piraeus International. Piraeus International has been helping Greeks ship to and from the motherland during COVID-19. Shipments to Greece are going out from Baltimore, Maryland every month. Fill any large U-Haul box, 18 by 18 by 24, and send it to our friends in Baltimore. They'll have it shipped to the port of Piraeus for only $50. Better yet, you can fill any large wardrobe box and send it for $100. Give them a call at 410-675-4696 or send them an email to sales@piraeusintl.com. Lambro, you got some news for us?
Yeah, I'll start off with the news. So there's going to be elections for the Hellenic Football Association, the EPO as it's called. I really don't know much about that. You were talking about it earlier, Zagorakis. I thought a lot of people were saying he was going to do it. I guess he's not leaving Brussels. You know, the money's too good from the European Parliament. And yeah, it's like, what did you say? There's like some random woman in the running now. Like another ex-player turned them down.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. This is it's a whole mess. I mean, Vasily Sabrako wrote a really nice article, kind of just top-down look at what's going on. And then Foss wrote an article as well, just kind of explaining the quagmire that right now is EPO and the future of EPO. No one really seems to want to take the reins, so to speak. It's very curious, and it's not looking good, so to speak. So we'll have to wait and see what happens.
Yeah, for sure. And we'll have more on that as things get closer. And now there's a rumor from Socrates returning to the national team. But I just want to point out that it's Sport Time. Reporting on the Sport Time also was the one who talked about Manolas returning to the national team. And I don't want to burn the bridge, but Sport Time, I have some problems with Sport Time as a as a source. So I don't know how truthful this is. They've also posted some other BS in the past, and not even football related, like fake news related. Like they're just a really, I'm not going to comment because they
get trolled a lot.
They get trolled a lot because they deserve to get trolled a lot. Like I don't want to go super political, but they like literally like tweeted something out where they were like, open all of the churches. It's about time. It's like, no, we're in lockdown. Like this is like hard. And we've all been, anyway, like just like a sports magazine, like telling the prime minister to open all the churches was kind of mad. And anyway, just a weird, weird, weird magazine. So I don't believe any of it. We'll see when the call-ups come out.
And speaking of the Ethniki, there was a bit of news with Jurgen Klopp. Klopp said he's considering not letting any of the Liverpool players go for international break. In other words, for the Greek national team, that means no Simikas. So because the Premier League is telling all the coaches, if your players leave, if they're going outside of the country, they're going to have to quarantine when they come back. Klopp Klopp, obviously, with the issues that are going on at Liverpool, the injury issues, can't really afford to deal with now quarantined players. On top of that, is saying he won't allow them. This has caused some uproar in social media. We've had quite a few people commenting on it, upset with this. One, because Simikas really isn't playing for Liverpool. So they're saying, why does he care if he's not playing? Look, guys, Simikas got injured. It's been a rough season with COVID and everything. And Klopp's thing, he did this at Dortmund too. Klopp has a few players that he just sticks with and he runs them into the ground. That front three that he has there never gets alternated. Robertson is also never getting alternated. That's just the type of coach he is. It's better for us to wait and see how things go. And then when the seasons kind of return to normal next year, we judge at that point. But I don't think we should be getting too upset with him in the way some Greeks are treated. That conversation just devolved into Greeks never get a chance in England, which isn't exactly true. And comparing Tsimikas to Mitroglou and Mavropano and other Loretsos, other players that have been playing in the Premier League in the last few years. And it's just, guys, calm down. Simikas is going to be fine. He's been through this before. Guys, not 2 years ago was Simikas sitting behind Leonardo Kutris. He waited and then took his chances when they came and became the star that he is. So relax. He's been in this position before. He knows he has to wait for his chance, and when it comes, he's going to have to earn it.
I know we love, like, as Greek people, this underdog mentality. That was so funny to me. Just like, Greeks don't get a chance in England. Like, what, Egyptians get a chance in England? Like, Mo Salah, like, given a chance. I don't know, man. Like, just like, there's so many dudes. Like, what, Naby Keita from Guinea. Ghanaian players are given the chance, but those Greeks, man, they don't like them. They mess their careers up. Like, that narrative was hilarious to me. Like, they just don't like our Greek players, like, literally Giannakopoulos, Donis, just the list goes on of Greek players who, in the past at least, who've played in England, and it's a bit maddening and not based in fact at all. And thing about Jurgen Klopp, I've been saying this from Pedro Martins. I wouldn't send our players, Olympiacos players, for national break either. Like, we're in the middle of a pandemic. What happens when they come back and get everyone sick, and then we have to lose out on a Champions League campaign like we did because of? Can we remind everyone what happened to our Champions League campaign because of coronavirus? Hassan was out for 3 months. El Arabi missed the most important games. Just Mari Kamara missed important games. It's public health, and these people are not idiots. Like, you get on planes and you travel and you mix with a group of people you haven't mixed before. Coronavirus is bound to pop up and can derail a campaign. I'm not mad at Jurgen Klopp for that. Like, I don't know what the problem is.
It's tough, man. I mean, it is what it is, but we'll deal more with the Greek national team when things get a little closer. And in other news today, we had some Greek Cup results to wrap up. After the Aris OlympiaCos game today, we now know the 4 teams that are going on into the semifinal stage. Yanina with a crazy 2-leg upset over Panathinaikos. Hilarious. Ike, despite losing today, go through. Bauk, who go through comfortably as well. Those are the 4 teams that we have going into the semifinals. It's going to be interesting to see how that shakes up. I'm more or less ambivalent about this because I'm more concerned about just cementing the league and Europa League. The cup is a bonus. We're already seeming like we're treating it like that because we're rotating constantly through these, playing our second and third string goalkeepers. But we're still alive in the competition, which is good, but we do have more important fish to fry.
Yeah, it really seems like there's no appetite for the cup at all from Pedro Martins. And also, I kind of want to say from the fans, at least from my angle, like we were losing today 1-0 and it was getting down there 80th minute, 85th minute. And I was just like, I wasn't feeling anger about losing it. It was like, okay, the cup is just, I think this goes back to the football association. It's just so messed up these days. Like, there's no Super League 2, there's no even lower division sides at all. So it's just like, I don't know, it's just been a broken process from the beginning. I've really not enjoyed it. I don't think anyone's really enjoyed it. And it just there's just nothing to it. I don't know. Of course we want the trophy, but it just there's no motivation. Like we're not Panathinaikos who can't finish fourth in the league and need it to get Europa League. So, it's kind of just useless other than like saying we won the double. So we'll see. I assume moving forward that we're going to put out a stronger team to try and, especially if we draw a bigger team. So we're going to have to see.
Yeah, well, again, it is what it is. So, time to move on to the real reason we're here, which is the post match discussion for both the Volos game earlier this week and the Cup game. So, let's start with that Volos game. That game was pretty ugly, and the stats also kind of showed it. Just going into the XG, the expected goals for both teams, Olympiacos was 0.91 and Volos was 0.33. Neither team really amassing enough solid opportunities to really for anyone to say, oh, they should have scored more or he should have scored more. It was an ugly game. But you can't say Olympiacos didn't dominate that game either. Volos didn't complete 200 passes. They completed a total of 194 passes. That's pretty much par for the course with some of these lower table sides. They barely get on the ball. And they also had a team accuracy of 70%. They were misplacing passes everywhere. So for anyone to say that Volos, and by anyone, I'm talking about the Complexares, who were basically saying, oh, the game was gifted to Olympiacos. Volos should have had it. No. If you can't complete as a team more than 70% of your passes, you have no buildup. If you can't complete 200 passes, you're barely holding on to the ball. That's not to say that they didn't have some spurts of play here and there where they couldn't do anything, but on the whole, top down, that's not a good look. It doesn't really work probability wise that things are going to work in their favor. So it just doesn't make sense. Now, in terms of some more, let's say, troubling things, we did concede our 10th set piece goal since December 20th, 2020. We have conceded 13 goals, total goals, 10 of which have been non-penalty set piece goals. That is troubling. This is very troubling. We talked about the issue, Zono Marking. We've been using this Zono Marking scheme, and it just seems like people are staying open, getting left open. Nobody's picking them up. And it seems to be a problem. And everyone has been pointing to it, that we need to switch back from a Zono Marking scheme to a man-to-man scheme. So we went back and we looked at all of the free kicks we've been taking. And guys, we've been using the Zono Marking system all year. It seemed to work just fine in the first half of the season. It was shaky at bits, but it never led to us conceding like this. So you have to wonder, is Zono Marking itself the problem? Or is there something else going on? Maybe communication. maybe with some of the new signings, there's an issue with communications. Who is calling what things out? How are our players getting around, and how are they taking up their roles? Some part of the chemistry here is unbalanced. And obviously it happened after the window. We have literally half of the starting four are new. We have a new left back, new right back. People seem to forget that just joined in the winter window. Lala, who was basically at the end of the window. So these guys, of course, need some more time. Oleg has never really been excellent in set piece defending from the get-go. That's always been something we've been kind of concerned about since he arrived. So the question is Zono marking the issue? Or is this something that we have to hope will fix itself because it's worked before? Lambro, what do you think?
I don't know. It's a problem, but I remember actually. This is funny now that we're playing Arsenal. I remember, because of course we're Arsenal football club. You know, everyone in Greece has two teams. They have their team abroad and it's a team in Greece. So anyway, I would say my team's Ajax and Arsenal, but anyway, it's nothing for the matter. Arsene Wenger stuck by that zonal marking. Like, I remember as Arsenal watching Arsenal games, it was just I don't know, so frustrating to watch that zonal marking. And Arsenal used to concede corner after corner after corner, and they still do. I think they still use zonal marking as well. So I don't know. It's going to be funny. Both of us incompetent defending set pieces going into the tie next week. But yeah, we've been doing zonal marking the whole time Pedro Martins has been here, right? So it's only been this recent thing. Again, the backline has changed. I don't know if I would change the zonal marking. Do I love it? No. But do I think there's another option at this point? No. Like, there's been no preseason. Are we going to take that drastic of a change? I don't know. I just remember one other thing. Whenever we play PAOK, it was like the set pieces are unlocked. There's no problem. And then like Ingason and Varela win like 40 headers a game, and we concede to them. Like, it seems like every time we play PAOK, we concede a freaking Ingason tap, and I want to throw my laptop out the window.
Yep, that's exactly how it always is. But I think when it comes to adjusting our set piece marking system, I don't see how, with such short notice, Pedro Martins can do an entire scheme change. We're not just going to go from zonal marking to man. It just can't happen. It's not realistic. This isn't FIFA that we're playing on the sticks here. This is the real game, and that type of adjustment going from zonal to man marking, I think, will cause more harm. Will do more harm than good, because it's a whole new scheme. Then the players have to rely on communicating even more to discuss who they're picking up. I'm picking up this guy. I'm picking up this guy. And if communication is the root cause of this problem, all man-to-man marking will do, or I should say the switch to man-to-man marking will do, is exacerbate it. It's not going to make it better. It will make it worse. So I think we just have to hope that it fixes itself and that we continue working on these set pieces, continue working on our communication, and hope that things get, a little bit better. But before we move on to the next part of the show, there is something that was bothering me a little bit, because I saw during the Volos game, when we conceded our 10th set piece goal, there were some, I won't necessarily call them fair weather OlympiaCos fans, but I will just say I don't necessarily think these people follow the club day in and day out. Because after that goal was scored, it was, oh, we conceded to Volos. This defense is trash. We conceded 4 goals to PSV. Trash. We need to clean house. After halftime of the second leg of PSV, dead weight on this team. Got to get rid of it. The defense is terrible. Semeiro's got to go. This guy's got to go. That is utter nonsense. It is the dumbest shit I have ever heard in my life. Guys, our defense is near unbeatable in open play. Against Volos, we were unbeatable. Volos had 16 positional attacks, 2 counters. How many shots do you think came about those total plays? Lambro, just guess. I know you don't look at the data, so just give me a guess.
I'm going to put 2.
1. Guess what the total X goal threat was from open play, whether by positional attack or counter by Volos? What do you think it was?
It's got to be at least like 0.5, no?
0.03, Lambro. 0.03.
It wasn't even above 0.1.
No. 18 total attacks, whether counter or attacks from open play. And guess what? 0.03. It might as well be 0. That means that Volos basically had no shot. They had no shot of doing this. They had no shot of finishing. They had no shot of doing anything this game. Unbeatable. Let's go to the PSV game, Lambro. Let's go back to those 2 games. What do you think PSV's open play XG was?
Say 1.52.
And we're going to include counters as well. No, lower.
1? It has to be
0.6. Lambro. 0.6 in the second leg. What do you think it was in the first leg?
In the first leg?
First leg. Yeah.
1? They scored 2 goals.
0.6 again. 0.65. In open play, this team is fantastic in breaking down attacks, in deflecting them, in forcing them outside so that teams can't get viable pressure against us. So if you're saying our defense is bad, quite frankly, you don't understand the game of football, and you're wrong. That's it. This team has made so many improvements at the defensive end. Considering we have 2 new pieces at the starting position, half the defense, half the starting defense, brand new guys. Oleg,
make that
Lala.
3. Make that 3 now.
We'll make that 3 now. Exactly. With the injuries, God knows what happened to Ba. But Socrates, right? We have 3 new additions to the defense at the winter break, and in open play, nobody can break us down. We have one problem, and it's set pieces. Guys, this is a good problem to have. I mean, no problem is good, but you know what I mean. Most of the other issues with the team, this is viable. This is really good for European competition. We have one thing that we really need to improve on, but otherwise, most of the other facets of our game are pretty good. So don't tell me that our defense sucks and we just start getting rid of players. Semedo sucks. He needs to go F off to Portugal or wherever. Ba is, if anybody complaining about Ba, you shouldn't be an OlympiaCos fan at all. Get the hell out of here. This is ridiculous. Everybody needs to calm the hell down.
Insane rant. I have to say that was such a good rant. But also, I want to say, Manuel da Costa's not walking through the door, baby. There's no there's no superstar defenders walking in that door right now this summer. Is Botia available from freaking wherever he is? China? Saudi Arabia? I don't know. Is Ali Sissoko still playing football? I need that star left back on my team. There's no perspective with the Fairweather fans. There is no perspective. I just love it so much. They're like we're the legends. We should be like dominating all the time. It's like, bro, like we literally had Alexi Romao, like Manuel da Costa, like freaking Stefano Capino 3 years ago. You people are so stupid. Like, now you're complaining about Ruben Semedo, who's like a 20 million euro defender. Usain Uba is probably going to be a 20 million euro defender. Oleg, who's well on his way to double-digit euro transfer market value. Lala, we got on a free transfer worth over 10 million euros as well. Like, Jose Sa, 15 million euros as well. We literally had 500,000 euro players like 4 years ago.
In these
4
positions,
years ago.
It's ridiculous.
In the same positions. Freaking Paredes. Does anyone remember Paredes? Played for like half a season. He's now playing in the Ecuadorian league. I Googled this a while ago. Like, what do you people want? I just don't get it. I don't get it. Paredes isn't walking through the door. I don't know. I don't know what they want. They want Robertson. I don't know what they want.
I don't know. And the funniest part was I saw these were mainly Greeks in Greece saying this. I saw some Greek Twitter after when Duvikas went on the right side and he nutmegged Ba, and they were getting upset. People calling Ba Duvlo because he got nutmegged by Duvikas and then ended up drawing a foul. He took the nutmeg, but then boxed Duvikas out and drew a foul. You don't really want a defender to do much else than that. That's how. Okay, you know what? He got nutmeg, whatever, but Duvikas couldn't get around him. So I don't get what you're complaining about. He did what he was supposed to do. Okay, maybe Duvikas kicked the ball through his legs, but if he didn't go anywhere with it, who cares? Who cares? Not me. As long as he gets the ball away from him or draws a foul, that's all I care about. Now, I will say this. Duvikas had a couple of nice plays down that right side. He actually dribbled quite well. He even had that sequence where he dribbled through two people. He got through Oleg, and then Socrates came in and he went around Socrates as well. So credit to him. He didn't have that bad of a game.
Yeah, the kid's good. He's good. I always thought he was good too when he played for Asteras. He played a few times against us, and I was like, and of course, everyone knows my love for Football Manager. He was decent on Football Manager. Would always pick him up, but I there's just no perspective too. We just played an insane European draw or European tie, I should say. High energy, incredibly emotionally draining. You play Monday in Volos, like okay, like it's gonna be difficult to get yourself up for Volos, and then 3 days later you play Aris. Like we played 3 pretty intense games in 7 days. It's difficult, especially when you come off those European games. The focus is so high, and then you try to calm down a little bit. You're drained, and again, it's difficult. I don't know what people expect. Like at this point in the season, when you're playing so many games, it's just about the results. It's just we're not going to beat teams 5-0 playing the most beautiful football in February in Volos. Like I don't know. Again, no perspective. As we mentioned earlier, I have to say Cardozo's not walking through the door to bang in the hat tricks, people. So I don't know what we're looking for.
It's tough. It's tough. But speaking on Duvikas, we did get a very interesting question from a pretty frequent guest of ours, Michael Vicini from Hellas Football. And Michael had asked us on Twitter whether or not Duvikas could be called up and whether he should be called up for the national team. So we did a bit of a deep dive on Duvikas. Obviously, we all don't watch every single game of Volos, a couple of the games against the big teams, plus the games against us. So we jumped into the data. And Y-Scout actually ranks him as the number 2 striker / center forward in the Greek Super League for a couple of reasons. His efficiency with respect to both shots on target and goals, we'll call it shot conversion and goal conversion, is pretty good. I mean, he's not the best in those respects, but he's up there. He's in the top tier in the league as well as amongst other strikers. In terms of goal conversion, literally just over a quarter of his shots are goals. That's not bad. The range is only about up to 30% with that. So it's pretty good. Shot conversion is just over 50%. Again, not the best, but he's in that upper tier. He's in that top like 5 or 6 players. So again, that's pretty good. Now, another stat that was really interesting to me, and in the beginning, I didn't pay much mind to it until I got the context for it and watched some of the film. He is one of the highest rated players in the Greek league when it comes to long pass reception. Now, some of you might look at that and say, oh, well, Volos can get pinched in deep and they just launch balls forward. And that's actually not the case. Duvikas, he's a squirrely little guy. He gets himself out of these man marking situations and creates space for himself. Sneaks behind them and his players see him. And it's something that the players seem to look for all the time. They'll see him start to make a run, launch a ball at his direction. He'll scoop it up and get moving. And there you go. You have a counter situation. He seems to do that pretty frequently, or at least more frequently than most other players, not just in his position, but in the league. Very interesting statistic with that. It goes without saying, he has above average dribbling ability. Let's just say that he has a neat little touch. He seems to be pretty privy to that that touch where he touches it kind of with not the instep, but with the laces of his shoe, ankle locked, and then he'll quickly cut with the outside of his foot, an in and out sort of type thing. And it's very quick. He seems to catch a lot of people flat-footed with it and create some space. He can keep the ball pretty tight. He has a decent center of gravity, very decent control. He has great ability for hold up play. And again, we saw that. We discussed the nutmeg against Ba, the dribbling sequence against Oleg and Socrates. He can get out of a pinch, and he can also make a play here and there when needed. It also goes without saying, he is third in goals scored in the Super League. He's behind currently El Arabi and Barales. His XG is also 9.2. So he's not just scoring goals that maybe are a little bit more difficult or lucky, we should say, and that conversion is going to drop down. No, he's getting into great scoring positions very frequently. And this is really important. Here's why. When it comes to the national team, what has been one of the major problems with the national team? Finishing. Every time a striker puts on the Ethniki jersey, as Greg Gavalas put it on one of our earlier episodes in the pod, when strikers put on that Ethniki jersey, they just seem to not be able to finish. So getting guys on there that have a great conversion rate, that can find themselves into goal scoring opportunities, that can get themselves open, get into places, make a play if they need to, that's what the national team is, or that's what the national team needs. And it goes without saying, he deserves a call up at the very least. For me, ideally, what I would want to see for call-ups for the qualification campaign for the World Cup, first and foremost, it goes without saying, Giakoumakis needs to be called up, first choice striker. Form alone should dictate this. I don't care if it's the Dutch league and everybody can score. He's just hammering them away. Nobody's scoring even close to the same rate he is. Not even that prodigy Malin that's all we heard about before we played PSV. So Giakoumakis, there is no question he should be called up and probably be the starter. Now, my second choice, kind of based on what we've seen in the past, but also based on form, would be what the person who Wyscout considers to be number 2 in the Eredivisie in terms of the center forward position. This might surprise some of you, but Pavlidis. Now, Pavlidis isn't a prolific goal scorer, not the same way Giakoumakis is, but Pavlidis, as we know, is a better hold-up player. He has better dribbling ability, and he can contribute to those goal-scoring opportunities. He's more, we could say more of like a false 9 in that respect. He's not an out-and-out goal scorer, but the guy will move around. He can play in multiple positions, and he's pretty good in hold-up play. Now, he's been frustrating for the Ethniki so far, but based on form, Pavlidis would be my call-up and kind of a striker that I would use, and I think this is how JVS sees him, as just an alternative to what's available with the given strikers. And then my third call-up would be Duvikas. Why the hell not? For the above reasons, and from what we've seen from other strikers so far, there's no reason Duvikas shouldn't at least get a call-up.
Listen, they've all been kind of tragic, no? Pavlidis reminds me of a freaking Greek Brownie day. You run all day and do nothing. Like, the dude could not score. He reminds me of like a track star Brownie day, like literally just running up and down the field, giving us the press, and then 90 minutes go by and you go, what did we just watch? Nothing. And I don't love him. Who else is out there? Funtas, didn't he get injured? Is he alive? Donis, is he alive? He's in the Netherlands too. It's a calamity. I would start Giakoumakis, I think that's for sure. And then I don't know, what's his name? Barales from Masteras. Does he have a Greek passport? I would call him up.
Get him on there.
I would call him up, man. Like the options are slim, as they say.
Hey, just get the youth brigade out there. Giakoumakis number 1, Binakas, Duvikas. I know Binakas may serve better as a 10, but he's still competent as a striker. Get the youth brigade out there. Who cares?
honestly, just solely sits right. No, I'm not even gonna
Didn't we
do it.
try that before?
I don't know, man. It's God. Is it really already March and we have to talk about the national team? I remember like in November, I'd be like, wait, what was it, like a draw against Slovenia? I was like, March is so far away. We never have to talk about this national team. I woke up and it's March and it's my nightmare. It's my nightmare. Can I make one real comment, a quick comment? One of the assistant coaches for John Van Schip, Vakanakis, I don't know his name. I think he's like Greek Australian or something. He posted a picture. He's like the the work is done before the game, and it's like him watching Spanish film with like these like mathematical equations, and I was like, what are these what mathematical equation is telling you like Bacaseta, Staphylidis, like Zavelas? I was just like trying to think like I need Peter's PhD to like come out here. I know he's good at math.
It's called the mathematics of bullshit. That's what it is.
And I wanted to troll him so hard, but you know, our social medias are very dignified, our social media, so I did not do it. But yeah.
I've been biding my time. I've just been hanging by the goalpost on the goal line, waiting for the keeper to make a mistake and drop the ball and, you know, run towards it. There was maybe a bit of match fixing going on. It may have been discussed at the halftime, but, you know, I've just been biding my time.
Rightfully so.
How's it going, guys?
It's going well. It's going good.
Sorry, I'm a bit late. So
No,
yeah,
don't.
sorry, I'm chipping in on this national team discussion now. Did we start talking about the centre backs and, you know, Socrates and Manolas Rumors? Do we want
we touched
do we
on it
want to
real
get
quickly.
into that now?
Dude,
Or
we can
save that
get
for the
deeper
next
into it.
one?
I went on a little rant about Sport Time being the worst. Okay, I really don't want to burn the bridge with Sport Time because some of the reporters are good, but this Gate 7 International does not endorse these comments, but Sport Time is hot garbage, everyone. I hate that newspaper so much. It is probably like there's a few like maybe it's the fascist newspaper, maybe it's the communist newspaper, and then it's like Sport Time, you know, like just like absolute, not gonna swear, BS that flies out of that newspaper. And I honestly think they only post these rumors for the diaspora because the diaspora is the only people who care about the national team. So they're like, what will get clicks from like people in New York and London and abroad? And they're like, Manolas coming back to the national team will do it for sure. And because it hasn't been reported anywhere else. We have to say that, right? So
the only thing they haven't said is that Siovas is going to be getting a call back as well.
They're waiting for that one. They're sitting on it.
I feel like we could have a separate pod discussion on the whole Socrates Manolas and the whole defense situation of the Ethniki. So I'm not gonna get into that now, but maybe we can make a promise to listeners ahead of the upcoming games that we will tackle that.
I think that's fair. And can we say real quick, Socrates is getting better every game. Tonight was nice. Tonight was good, right? Yep. Like he's slowly starting to remind me of that player I loved when he played for the national team. I fell out of love with him when he went to Arsenal. I feel like every defender just turns into shambles when they go to Arsenal, and but he's starting to remind me of that player and the passion and the sliding in, and it's good. I don't know if you guys remember this, but he was at the halfway line. The referee called offside, and he went to like go. He was yelling at the referee about something, and then he went to go take it quickly, and the referee like put his foot in to stop him from taking the free kick. Pedro Martins was like gonna kill the referee, and it's just like he was just fucking passionate about a Thursday night game against Aris. Like I was like, this is fantastic stuff. I was all about it.
It's good. I mean, he's always been a guy that's been pretty passionate when he's on the field, but it's really nice to see him start to get that form back. And I hope he can find his way back to the national team, but I'm going to hold my breath on that. And we'll definitely revisit this when we see the call ups and when we see what actually happens for those first couple of games. But moving on, let's get into that post-match against Aris. We all want to talk about it. The glorious steal from Bukhalakis, the king of thieves, picking pockets. Man, this guy, I love the Super Greek tweet that he had about this. Bukhalakis is the guy that the Greek government needs to hire to steal the Parthenon marbles from England. This is the guy to get the job done. He'll be in and out before anyone knows what happened. Glorious, 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 glorious.
I gotta give a shout out to I give a shout out to him every episode. My boy Roland, we're watching the game, my Dutch friend, and we're just hanging out watching this game, having some beer. And literally I'm just checking my phone because it was like a goal kick, or it was, I don't even remember what it was. The goalkeeper took the ball and I was just like checking my phone about to rant about something, as I do. And the announcer goes crazy and it's yelling, "Go, go, go!" And I look up and it just Bukhalaki celebrating. I was like, "How the hell did this happen?" Because if something like this is to happen, you'd think, okay, El Arabi stuck his toe in, or like Hassan unfortunately still on the pitch. I believe so. So it was just like weird, you know. It was kind of surreal. I don't know. And then it was just a terrible game. I hated watching that. I'm gonna be honest, that was terrible, but I don't know.
Yeah, there were a lot of not so good aspects of that game. Hassan didn't do himself any favors. I thought he had a really poor game. Did anything positive come off? I mean, besides like a
His
back
hold up
pass here
play
and there?
is so bad.
Well, we know it's bad, but I mean,
like,
today was like there were times where the
just
ball
a
was
simple
in
pass.
Well, forget the simple pass. The ball would like come to him and he would figure out a way to contort his body around the ball and not touch it. He would have like 4 seconds and be all around the ball, but somehow the defender would get there and then in the split second, just get the ball from him. Like, man, just put something, get your body on the ball somehow to get this ball down. I don't know, man. I find myself like he'll have one of those tap in master classes. And I'll be like, oh, this is, I just got to let the other stuff go. This is what he's here for. And I got to let the other stuff slide. But then I see it. I'm like, oh, what is this? Who is wasting one of our glorious spots on the field with this garbage?
Yeah, I tweeted it out. I'll claim credit for that one. When you saw like Hassan start and Lazar start, Lazar has not done anything in 6 months. I swear to God. And I just wish Maxi Lovera got this chance. Like, it would have been nice to see Maxi Lovera in the second half of the season play the Lazar minutes, to be honest with you. We need Peter to run a loan update on how he's doing over there in Argentina. But just, I guess he was better than usual. Can we say that? Better than usual, but still incredibly mediocre. And it doesn't help again when you have Holebas on one side as well, and he's more defensive. I thought, even though I enjoyed Holebas today, ever since he's become the backup, I've actually enjoyed him more and more. But I don't want to hamper back onto it, but it was just such a mediocre game. It was to watch, and it's clear we played 3 games in a week. And even though it's a second rotated team, this team has traveled to Eindhoven and back to Athens. It's traveled to Volos. It traveled back to Athens. It traveled to Salonika. And now these guys need it is Friday morning European time, or Central European time. And these guys go again Sunday afternoon. It's not a Sunday night kickoff.
Yep.
These guys are going to play again in almost 48 hours. This is unreal, man. That's unreal. Unreal scheduling. Like, I don't know. I would be dead as a person from traveling that much on buses, on planes, and 48 hours, essentially 72 hours max. Like, people think this stuff's easy because you're traveling in Greece, but like, it's even worse when you travel in Greece because you got to take the bus to Volos. You got to freaking you fly to Salonika, but still, it's tough, man. And I don't know. I understand why the team has been playing poorly and why this game was not entertaining, and the game against Volos wasn't entertaining. And I give them slack. I honestly think the game against Lamia, you have to rotate everything. You gotta, Kuipers needs to play again. Thiago Silva needs to play, because Arsenal is a week away, people. It's a week away. I kept thinking it was longer, but the clock's against us, and that's in part thankfully to our insanely competent football association. Just incredible.
Yeah, we were DMing with a good friend of the pod, Hanu, who we've brought up a couple of times on our episodes and on social media as well. And he DM'd and he's like, "Oh my God, Olympiacos is playing again? Didn't you guys just play a couple days ago?" And we were like, "Yeah, and we play again on Sunday." So we never get favors. We're not getting favors from Epo, for a friendly game. We sure ate a lot of fouls. Of course, a gift of a penalty for Aris, one of the softest penalties I've ever seen, where the contact started outside the box. But whatever, we're gonna let that go. The fix was in. The fix was in. Usain Ubah's own goal. Oh, that was on purpose, just to make it seem like it wasn't a friendly. I was joking around with George from LS Football, the host of the LS Football podcast as well, and we were joking around on Twitter, that the loss to Panathinaikos was just to make everybody think that there's no friendlies and that this isn't our season. And I went further, said, you know what, we should give Bauk a consolation win as well, because once we give them a consolation win, any notion of conspiracy will be out the door. All of it. They'll be like, "Oh yeah, we won fair and square. That's how it is. You guys are. This is just a lucky season. We've got injuries. Forget it. Everyone. It's always a conspiracy. It always is."
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head with it's always a conspiracy. It's like literally anything that happens, it's fixed. Like, it's so funny. They're like, "Of course Aris would score the first goal, you idiots." It was like, what? No, like, if the fix was in, I feel like it would be so much. Anyway, the fix being in, I don't know, but also one thing I want to hit on with this fix is in BS with Aris is freaking Marius Versailles almost tore his ACL. Like, think about the players too involved in this. Like, players are giving everything and they're almost getting injured. Players are getting injured. And
Yep.
Marius Versailles almost tore an ACL in his friendly against Aris, one of our youngest talents, one of our brightest stars this season. Like, in what world, in what friendly do you have your star player risk tearing an ACL? It's unreal. Like, it's gotten to the point where we can joke about it, but I think it's just like disrespectful to some of the players as well, because like Lucas Sasha, like, putting bleep that out, Peter, like bleeping 2-foot tackles into people. Like, Jesus Christ, like, in what world is that a friendly? Do you know what I mean? Like, watching those games and watching the tackles fly in and the way Aris players are playing, the way we're playing, really. Like, did you see when El Arabi jumped in the face of the goalkeeper and like almost was yelling at him? Like, in what world is this a friendly? Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. And the goal was weird, yes, but how is that match fixing? I just don't know. I this is why
You're wasting your breath and energy.
exactly.
You can't
And
even pay it any mind.
And this is why I root for you all to burn and fail, Greek clubs. I'm sorry, I had to say it. In Europe,
hell?
I always root for you to burn and fail secretly, but other than the coefficient. But like, you guys are scum, and hopefully you fail and lose to Azerbaijani teams in the future, like usual. Anyway,
we do
I
not
don't
want to
know.
wish that. You realize that makes our life harder, right?
It makes our life harder, but it also is just
Because I
that's who you
certainly
are.
don't want Olympiacos playing 8 games over the summer
I know you
know
don't.
Epo does when Epo doesn't care about us. So why would
Like,
I ever want that?
you know the meme, and it's just like the member of parliament, and he goes, "Allah aftiste, losing to freaking Azerbaijani teams in like freaking June of the summer. Season ended 3 weeks ago to qualify for what is it called? Conference League.
The European Conference League.
That is what you are. That is what you always will be. Freaking scum. Anyway, that rant was for you, Mario Rusai, my boy. Anyway, that's
you
all I
can't
got for
give into that. Look, as somebody who played, I played a lot growing up. I've seen that stuff happen before. When it's getting late into a game and it's pretty tight, relatively high stakes. I've seen at tournament level, in the Olympic development level, and the national level, goalkeepers and stuff that happened to my team in regional championships. Our goalkeeper did something like that. Shit, I didn't even see the guy. And he just came up, scooped it away from my goalkeeper when he pushed it a little bit too far out. There are lapses in judgment like that happen. When you're tired and it's late in the game and you're hyper-focused on one thing, it's like tunnel vision. It happens on the field. And this is how I can always tell who has and hasn't played at a competitive level. Because it happens. It sucks and it's stupid and it makes that goalkeeper look like an amateur, but it happens. It doesn't happen very often, but it happens. Bukhalakis took advantage. Listen, he got caught up. The goalkeeper wasn't paying any attention to him. The goalkeeper, was probably fatigued, mentally fatigued as well, and didn't notice it. Doesn't mean the fix is in. He got caught blindsided. He was made to look like a fool. That's just it. That's it. There's no conspiracy. There's something called Hanlon's razor, guys. Don't explain with malice what can be explained by stupidity. And that's what this was. It was stupidity by the goalkeeper. Plain and simple.
Yeah. And I think there's some context too. Like, have people played football when you're defending a lead and there's 10 minutes left and it's just wave on wave? Like, because that's what it was there at the end.
Yep.
You get tired running around back and forth, side to side, especially when it's a proper team. We were passing the ball side to side, wing to wing, and they were pressing. The announcer made that clear. Like, and the announcer didn't have to say anything. Anyone with eyes could see it. They were pressing. They were still keeping tight to us. That is tiring. They did that for almost 30 minutes, and it's not just tiring for players on the field, because as a goalkeeper, you got to keep your head active and you got to stay focused, and it's tough stuff. And I had a feeling a goal was coming there at the end anyway, because it was just too long of sustained pressure, but it came that way. And hey, maybe the coaching staff told Bukhalakis to do that, or maybe he saw it during the time wasting that the goalkeeper was doing, because he was doing that quite a few times.
Or maybe he was tired and taking his time to get up, and then when he saw the goalkeeper launch the ball ahead of him, he was like, "Oh man, let me at least try it."
No,
and
for
he
sure.
took off. Listen, we're not going to get too much more into it because we could do it for hours. As we begin to start to wrap up, we didn't do coaching grade or man of the match for Volos, so let's quickly go through Lambro. Coaching grade, man of the match for Volos, and then we'll do coaching grade and man of the match for Aris. So to start, give us the coaching grade, your coach's grade for Volos, and give us coach's grade and give us man of the match for Volos as well.
Listen, both these games I never want to remember again, other than the Bukhalakis goal. Like, I literally, I've almost seared the Volos game out of my mind already. I'm just gonna say Jan and Via for both games and an A for Pedro Martin, so we can wrap this
up. I'm actually gonna go for the first game. I'm gonna go with Fortunis, because I thought he did quite well in the game against Volos, making some opportunities, and of course he bags the first goal. So I'm actually gonna give it to Fortunis just to be different from you. And I'll give Martins, I guess I'll give him a B for that one. And for the sake of time, I won't go too much into the explanation. But for Aris, I'll give him an A minus. I love that triple change he did. Martin seems to be getting into this triple change, like 65th, 70th minute. He's loving this. And it works. I mean, 3 changes. It's a huge gamble. but it's paid off both times he's done it. I like it. I hope he keeps doing it and throwing it in there once in a while. It completely changes things. The pressure was up tempo towards the end of that second half. Stuff was happening, but I'm going to give the man of the match for the Aris game has to be Bukhalakis for me. He had a great game. In the first half, he had a couple of nice balls forward, some dangerous opportunities. He overcooked the ball to Masuras that would have been pretty dangerous had he kind of kept it on the ground. But he had some good looks. I thought he played very well. And then, of course, like, how can you not give a man of the match for just the swipe of a goal that was? Bukhalakis came in, the king of thieves. For those of you that played Skyrim, his thievery is at level 100. That's it. Came in, scoop, goal, man of the match. That's it. That's going to be on highlight reels for a while. Bukhalakis, the Midnight Thief. I love it. I love it. If you're in London right now, lock your doors. Hide your kids, hide your wives, and hide your husbands too. Bukhalakis is coming, and he's going to come in, take stuff. You have no idea what he's coming for. I love it. I love it. I hope the king of thieves steals one just like this in London. I hope he does it at Gadaskaki when they come visit us. Love it. And yeah, I think I already said B+ for Martins.
All right, what? He's gonna steal it and then miss kick it into the freaking third row of the stands.
Don't
with
do that.
One touch pass.
Don't do that. Don't throw that.
He doesn't deserve that. I'm sorry, Bukhalakis. I'm sorry. Okay, so my man of the match for the first game. What am I saying? Jan Mvia, King, A+ for Martins. Love it. Second game, Bukhalakis scored the goal. Triple change. Loved it. A+ Martins. Olympiacos rides on. We go. People are gonna think I don't watch either games, but seriously, people like these games are literally just.
Sometimes I think that too.
Sometimes
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, sometimes it can't come out because, yeah, it happens. But I do watch the games, but some of these games I try to burn out of my memory, and then we have a podcast, and I try to remember what we're doing. And the Volos game frustrated me, but I remember Jan Mvia playing well. So yeah,
he did.
Anyway, let's just wrap it up.
It's about that time. I don't even know how long we've been at this for, but it's been a really weird. I don't know if you guys can tell, but this is a weird recording session for us. A lot of weird stuff going on here, technical difficulties, whatever. But hopefully this episode gets to you and it's not completely ruined. Anyway, thank you for listening, especially if you've made it this far. We had some fun doing this despite the problems, the situations that arose out of nowhere. Don't forget to give us a follow if you don't already. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at Gate7IN as in Nancy TL. That is Gate7, the number 7. Somebody did ask us if it was the number 7 or 7 spelled out. It's the number 7. Gate7INTL, all social media. Give us a like, review. Please review the podcast. Oh, we almost forgot. We have 2 new reviews on Apple, on the Apple reviews. We did get 2 new ones. And remember, we do read these out. So please, whether it's good or bad, 5-star or not, please give us a 5-star. But if it's not, we're still going to read it. Our favorite.
Should we save it for at the top of the next episode, or should
no,
we?
I'm going to do it now. We're going to do it now.
Okay,
Peter, edit Lambro out. I'm reading this. Edit him out. So the first new review we got was from George 010203. Love it. Very original name. Finally, an Olympiacos oriented podcast. Loving it. Thank you so much, George. Thank you for listening to the pod. And we hope that you continue to do so. And the other one, Life of Horge C. Boozing with the Boys episode is top notch. I think this is a fake alias account for our friend George. Life of George C. Tried to change the G with an H so we wouldn't know who he was, but we know. And of course, he loves the Boozing with the Boys episode. It was his idea to do the Boozing with the Boys episode. So thank you guys again. Again, don't forget
another one coming soon.
Yes, we are doing this again, guys. I know we brought it up a while ago. We do have another Boozing with the Boys episode. We haven't forgotten about it. We remember all the critiques that we got last time. The time is going to be much different. It's going to be much easier for our friends across the pond, across the Atlantic in Europe. And hopefully it'll be easier as well for our friends elsewhere. So we are going to do that. We're thinking about doing something maybe after a game or possibly after the round of 16 for Arsenal, getting everybody's thoughts, whatever happens, whether it's sad or whether it's happy. We'll let you know more details, but this is going to happen again. Anyway, until next time, thank you guys so much. We're the Gate 7 International Podcast.